All right, since it's Memorial Day, we decided to revisit Molly's trip to Washington, D.C. with a veteran of World War II. She signed up for an honor flight, which is a program that flies veterans to see their war memorial in Washington.
Yeah, on Saturday, April 27th, they went on an incredible journey with an Air Force veteran named Kurt Claus, and he's from Fox Point, Wisconsin. He was just 17 when he enlisted. So here is a look back at a day he'll never forget, and neither will I.
It might not look like it, but this is a race. It's a race against the clock. The mission to get World War II veterans to their war memorial in Washington, D.C. before time runs out. Why the rush? Every minute and a half a veteran from World War II dies. That's 1,000 vets a day. Kurt Claus and 102 other veterans all won the race. They beat the clock and made it safely to Washington, D.C. and home again. For these humble heroes, it was a moment in the sun, an emotional trip, and one day they won't forget.
It was so impressive. And then when we got to the concourse, the multitude of people that were there to receive us, and the enthusiasm and the appreciation that they expressed was so astounding that I find it hard to describe it without emotion.
Kurt served America in the Air Force. He was just 17, not even done with high school, when he decided to enlist. He went to mechanic school and worked on medium bombers and later as a crew chief in Italy.
I always had a fascination with airplanes, and the Air Force was the only option as far as I was concerned.
When the war ended and Kurt's time in the military was over, he came back home, got married, adopted 2 daughters, and worked in the family's funeral home business for 50 years. This is the 17th honor flight out of Milwaukee. For veterans like Kurt, this is often the first time they've been thanked for their service and quite possibly the last trip of their lives. It's a 24-hour journey that starts early and ends late the same night. Our trip included stops at the World War II Memorial, the Lincoln Memorial, as well as Vietnam and Korean War memorials. We also visited Arlington National Cemetery and saw the changing of the guard. Volunteers and military brass greeted us at every stop. We also had a full police escort as we traveled around our nation's capital. This trip was also full of surprises. On the way home, it was mail call. Every single veteran on board received a package filled with letters and cards from friends, family, and fellow service members. And then there was the welcome home parade at the airport late that night. Hundreds and hundreds of people showed up to salute America's greatest generation and thank them for the time they spent defending our freedom. Most of these World War II vets never talked much about their war experience, but this flight seemed to make them talkative. Many of them told me this was one of the best days of their lives, right behind getting married or the birth of their children. This day was meaningful and memorable.
It will last as long as my days are numbered. It's just a fantastic experience. It's a lifelong experience.
The Honor Flight Network has sent more than 100,000 veterans to Washington, D.C. There's no cost for veterans. There are 117 hubs across the country, 5 here in Wisconsin. If you'd like to apply as a veteran or donate so that our heroes can take a flight, visit the local chapter at starsandstripeshonorflight.org.